As a young boy growing up in Czechoslovakia, Hugo Grin, who would become a prominent Jewish leader in England, was sent to Auschwitz with his family. For a while, he and his father shared a barrack. In spite of the unspeakable horror and hardship, many Jews held on to what scraps of Jewish religious observance that they could. One year, the inmates became aware that it was the first night of Hanukkah, the festival of lights, and Hugo's father constructed a little menorah out of scrap metal. For a wick, he took some threads from his prison uniform, and for oil, he had saved up some of the meager rations of margarine. Hugo's father secretly gathered his young son and others to celebrate this first night of Hanukkah and to light those candles. Hugo remembers being utterly outraged at his father, not because he was endangering the lives of everyone participating in this religious act of defiance, and not even because his father still insisted on clinging to the religion that seemed to be the very cause of their hellish suffering. No, Hugo was furious with his father because he thought it wildly impractical and frivolous to use a sliver of margarine, which at the time equaled energy, calories, survival, and life itself, and put it in a menorah rather than in someone's mouth. Wouldn't it be better to share the fat on a crust of bread than to burn it, the boy protested angrily. His father's words would remain with him for the rest of his life. Hugo said to his father, "If Auschwitz has taught us anything, it is that a person can live for days without food, but they cannot live for even one moment without light." To quote another student of Auschwitz, so to speak, Viktor Frankl, "Those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how." Many are familiar with Abraham Maslow's theory of the pyramid of hierarchy of human needs, which places the physiological at the bottom and most urgent, followed by safety and shelter, social belonging, self-esteem, and self-actualization at the top. In his later years, Maslow explored a further dimension of motivation, and he revised his original vision of self-actualization. According to his later theory, one finds the fullest realization in giving oneself to something beyond oneself. For example, in service, in altruism or spirituality. Friends, each era has its unique struggles and solutions. Each generation, its particular challenges and calling. Perhaps precisely because we are so blessed materially and don't have to struggle for the basic physical survival like our ancestors once did, ours is a generation that is struggling increasingly with mental and emotional health and well-being. Which is why perhaps more than in any previous generation, ours understands most profoundly the Hanukkah message Hugo's father taught him all those years ago. That arguably the most important ingredient necessary for human survival and well-being is light, is a sense of meaning, faith, belonging, spirituality, service, and purpose. It is this search for connection and transcendence which burns brightly in each one of us that Hanukkah comes to highlight, comes to ignite and celebrate. And hence, through living a life of authentic and infectious humanity and holiness, we become more than a candle of light. We become the menorah through which the light of others can shine bright.